Did you guys get your free comics for Free Comic Book Day? I know I did, plus some foily goodness from ABX Comics and Games, and I hit up a couple other shops. So come kick it while we show off our new comics and the Free Comic Book Day aftermath. What is up, all you beautiful legends? I hope you guys are off to a great start to the week, and happy Monday. As you saw to the intro, I do have a big box from ABX Comics and Games, and a couple of old books and a couple of back issues with my new Free Comic Book Day haul. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you got out there to support your LCS. Hopefully you had a great May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th. But at the end of the day, it was Free Comic Book Day the past weekend. I hope you were able to get out there and get some good books, get some free books. And if you didn't, if you had to work, just hopefully we can live through you with our content. And I know there's probably still a lot of Free Comic Book Day books floating out there. So if you have a chance, hit up some online LCSs, hit up ABX on Facebook, go check your local LCS. There should still be some books floating around. So before we get into anything, I'm going to play a quick little snippet of I went to Rupp's Comics. We were kind of in a time crunch, so I was a little bit in a rush, in a hurry, so I didn't film too much, less than I expected, because we had a family dinner that we were going to later that night. But I will insert that there. They had some great toy selection, and I'm showing off all their comics. So I'm going to play that there, and we'll let it run. There was a great selection of, I think all those toys were $10, and then they had their Free Comic Book Day books, and then I think back issues were like 10 or 15% off. But with Rupp's, it's tough to dig their back issues because it's all in their basement. So I normally don't browse their back issues too much. And if you caught one of my previous videos, they do their big blowout dollar book sale with like 60,000 books. I was in there for like 3 or 4 hours the past week, so I didn't need to dig through that because I already dug through that. So if you want to check that out, it is on my channel. It was a huge collection. So we're just going to start off and we'll just show them off real quick because like I said, I'm going to highlight them more when we get to the ABX because that's my full. These are just some extras I got for the community. I know a couple people and a couple homies weren't able to get some of the Free Comic Book Days. That's why I went to the other LCSs, mainly to get a couple free books to pass around the community, just in case you weren't able to grab some. So I grabbed the ones that I thought were the coolest and, the ones I thought people were wanting. So I grabbed those, and then I got 2 of the Blood Hunts. But then, shout out to my old LCS, Pop's Comics in Sandusky. If you've noticed, and thank you for anybody's time of just sharing, liking, or watching any of my Instagram posts. I was trying to do some mystery boxes, trying to move some books. Books I didn't necessarily need to sell, but I didn't want to have to buy, another 2 short boxes. So I just was trying to thin out and trying to be more niche with the collection. But big shout out to them. I took all those books to them and they bought them for way more than I expected. It was definitely a nice little boost. Like I said, I already got a nice little chunk of change for Heroes Con, but I'm just going to add that to the funds. And shout out to them, man. So it was a good day. I wasn't really expecting to sell them. I brought them anyway just to check it out. The owner was there. He dug through them. We agreed on a price that we were both comfortable for. So thank you for that. But they were also doing a 20% back issue sale. But again, I didn't have too much time, so I just dug through some X-Men, didn't find anything. And then I picked up this issue number 51 of Spawn, and I think I paid probably like $2.50 for each one of these. Got issue number 51 that I'm missing, and then issue number 58. Trying to just complete that entire Spawn run. I am just a few issues away from completing 1 through 100, and then from 100 to 200 it kind of gets spotty. I'm focusing on those homage covers right now because they're the pricier ones. Now, let's get into this box. I already pre-opened it and everything. I was hanging out on Mad Spidey's Outback on Saturday night for like an hour or so, and we were showing off Free Comic Book Day and showing off stuff, so I wanted to get in the fun, and I opened this box already and checked out some of the books. So one of the things I was super excited about, let me just get all this stuff out of here, and then we'll get this box out of the way. So let's move this, get these, always phenomenal packaging as well. Like I said, ABX Comics and Games at Augusta, Georgia. Their link will be down in the description. Everything's through Facebook. If you don't have an online LCS, or if you don't have an LCS near you, reach out to me, reach out to Legion, reach out to Alan, or just reach out to Paul directly. He will definitely take care of you. But this was dope. I was really excited to see this. This is from Greenlight Collectibles, and I did a Free Comic Book Day thing where I showed off some of the collectibles, and one of the things I wanted to get was the Omni-Man and Invincible Funko. They had it at my LCS. It was, I think it was $49.99, and I just didn't want to drop $50 with Heroes Con coming up because, like I said, I'm very on strict budget of not overspending on things until after the con. But this was cool. This is the Free Comic Book Day, and this is actually the 1 in 64 variant, and it's like the Free Comic Book Day little metal die-cast van. So I think that is super cool from PX Previews exclusives. So I know these are limited, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's dope. It's a 1983 GMC Vandura, so that's dope. So thank you, Paul. Just a little throw-in. Always something nice. And then, again, massive, need to be careful so I don't rip this. Massive shout out to Paul. This little stack and bundle is actually for Cat Fan Comics Man. He's one of the members of the community, and I'll leave his link in the description as well, that doesn't have an LCS, and he has a really hard time with Free Comic Book Day because he never can partake. But I reached out to him ahead of time because I already knew his situation, and I was like, hey man, send me your list, let me know what you need, and then let me reach out to Paul and see if we can work something out. And Paul just hooked him up. Whatever he needed, Paul sent. So that's for Cat Fan. I'm going to be shipping that off directly to him, as well as a giveaway win of some Ghost Machine books. So something I'm always happy to get, and we're not going to flip through this or anything. Oh, there's something else in here too. Okay, the other previews. Cool. So man, I don't know about you guys, but I love League of Comic Geeks as well. But I also love having the paper edition of the previews. So I always sit down and flip through this and check out what I need for coming up in the week. And then we have the Marvel pre-previews, and I'm definitely excited about X-Men now. And then we have, what is this, the previews. This is for Conan. I think this is for like the independent titles for like Dynamite and stuff. So there's those. All right, let's get into these books. And I actually, right before filming this, I actually just sat down and finished reading all of the Free Comic Book Day books. So we'll kind of talk about those as we go along. So the first one we have is DC Absolute Power, issue number 1. I'll be honest, I am not a fan of Amanda Waller whatsoever. I do have her first appearance in comics, but I'm just not a fan of her. I've never been a fan of her in the movies. I like the Suicide Squad. I like what she does, but just her as a character, I've just never been a fan. So I wasn't too excited for this, but I am a fan of Failsafe. I'm reading the current Chip Zdarsky run, but I dropped out of Superman, so I don't know what's going on with Brainiac. But this does a great job explaining what's going on, explaining what led to the event, and spoilers. I'm going to say this now. This episode is going to be spoilers because I did get a foil cover, so if you don't want to see spoilers, I'll let you know when I get to it again. But it does show the last scene in this book. But I am definitely on board with DC Absolute Power going forward. Next, another one that I was a little hit or miss on because I still need to read Blood Hunt issue number 1. I'm just a couple days behind on my reading. This weekend I haven't really had a chance. But watch my Instagram. I do all my nightly reads on there. But this is Blood Hunt, issue number 1. Just got done with this as well. And the one thing that I took away from this is it was a nice setup for the Blood Hunt. But if you see it says plus Uncanny Adventures, or Uncanny X-Men. That's the one I'm excited for. I'm excited for the main run. I think it's that one. It's either that one or the one with Ryan. Whatever has Ryan Stegman is. Like I said, I'm not an X-Men guy, but I'm slowly trying. That's the one I'm going to be pulling. So it was cool. It had a little backup story with Jubilee showing her off. This though, Energon Universe. This was not my cover of the week, but this was my cover for Free Comic Book Day. This was the best Free Comic Book Day cover in my opinion. The Ryan Ottley Megatron, and man, this was the best read. This was phenomenal. As somebody who's a fan of the Energon Universe and who's reading Duke and G.I. Joe, this just tied up all those, and Void Rivals, sorry, not Duke, but G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, and Transformers. This ties up little tiny segments that were kind of left you wondering, and also had some jaw-dropping moments. So I am very excited, and I highly recommend. I'm not really going to spoil anything, but make sure you guys check that out. And then pick this one up. Lady Derrz, she was reading Maleficent, but she does like the Disney books, so I'll let her check that out. But this is Maleficent #1. I'm not sure what this is because, like I said, Maleficent already wrapped up, so I'll have to check that out. Next, we have Johnny Quest. This is issue #1. It's a cool cover. Not sure what the artwork looks like because I haven't really, I'll let you guys know. I only read the couple of the big ones. But I do remember Johnny Quest a little bit as a kid from some of the cartoons. But other than that, I'm not really too interested in the story, so that's one I'm going to be passing. This, shout out to Marcus, Circumstances, but the world of James Tynion. I've tried James Tynion. I've tried reading, tried The Deviant. I tried World Tree. I tried Something Is Killing Your Children a couple times. No offense to anybody that reads them. I just think James Tynion's writing is just not for me, and that's the beauty for comics. So this is another one that I'll be checking out, but I won't be pulling or reading any of the other ones. Here's a nice little spec book. This was TMNT, who is the Night Watcher, not Night Thrasher, but nice little first appearance for there. This will be one I check out. I like TMNT, as you can see behind them, but I don't really read them in comics. Next, we have Hellboy. I like the movies. I know nothing about Hellboy from comics other than what he does, but I love the Ron Perlman movies. So, also featuring Stranger Things. So I guess I'll check that one out, but I won't be reading it. So make sure you guys hit the like button, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you missed it, Saturday I did drop my first flea market adventures, digging through some WWF magazines, some old vinyl records, some comics, went through my first flea market in the area. So make sure you guys go check that out. The support is always much appreciated. I do remember this comic from a kid. Some of the comics I read as a kid, but this is Mad Magazine. It says, "Our price free, cheaper than cheap." Crap, I'm already in costume. So that's cool. I'll definitely probably flip through that. And then they always do these, but this one's a cool cover. I do like the white background with all the characters on there, but we have Marvel Voices issue #1. And once we get through these Free Comic Book Day books, I know you guys have seen it a bunch. I do have a stack of some foily goodness and my new comics from the past 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. Star Wars Day, couldn't pass up a Star Wars book, so I had to have that one. I am reading the Darth Vader trade right now as well, so kind of slowly trying to read Star Wars, but man, there's a lot in comics. Spider-Man Ultimates, let's go. Very excited about the Ultimates. I am loving the Ultimate Universe. And we also had, what did this also have in it? It had a preview for the new Spider-Man from Stegman, and then it had a preview for the Venom War in it as well. So those are all 3 books that I am going to be pulling and I am excited for. So we'll continue with this. You had that DC Connect, and we'll just put this over here. Next, this is probably my cover of the week for sure. We'll see, we'll double check at the end. But again, before I show the spoilers, so if you haven't read the DC Absolute Power, if you haven't seen the final page, this is your one little spoiler warning, so just fast forward for 30 seconds or something like that. So ready? 3, 2, 1. But this is that foily, that Superman getting shot, that last scene where it says the power drain begins here, and this is that, I think it wasn't a 1 per store, but it was that secret variant. Paid $10, but I always like to try and get these if they're available because it does help support the shop, as the shop doesn't pay for the comic books, the free comic books, or the free comic books aren't paid for, the comic shop has to pay for them. So if these are available, make sure you grab them to support your shop, and they're a sick cover. So that should end all the Free Comic Book Day stuff. Let me know what you guys was your favorite. Mine was definitely the Superman foil, but that Ryan Ottley Transformers was fantastic. So we'll move into some of the new books. We are now on to issue number 88 of The Walking Dead Deluxe. So issue number 88, if you're keeping track, still haven't read a single one. So we're inching towards that issue number 100, and then I'm pretty sure it's like 150 issues. So slowly but surely we're getting there. Next, I think this was one of my more anticipated ones. I'm not familiar with the original Space Ghost cartoon. Kind of, like I said, Johnny Quest, it was a little bit before my time, but I do remember it a little bit as a kid. But Space Ghost Coast to Coast, the talk show on Toonami, was peak for me, one of my all-time favorite shows as a kid. So I am excited for this, and this book, Space Ghost #1, I think this is what Thundercats should have done. It has phenomenal covers, it has great gritty artwork, and I heard the story is really good. So this is a book I'm definitely excited for, and probably one of my more anticipated reads. Knowing that, I was kind of flipping around to see kind of what ratios I wanted, but this was the one I settled on because I was going to get this one in the Virgin, but it was $30. You know, with Heroes Con, no need to splurge on anything. But this is, again, Space Ghost #1, that 1 in 10. I got that for $10, and that gorgeous Flea, Bjorn Bandez. Love that trade dress on that. I was going to get the Virgin, but I am a fan of trade dresses, so grab that, some foily goodness. Next, after hearing people review this book, I heard it's kind of confusing and not good, so we'll see. But it's only 3 issues, so I'll just finish it out. But with the new movie coming out, the new trailer, it's got me all hyped. This is Deadpool versus Wolverine. I think this is World War II, yeah. But at least I got that no feet Liefeld cover. So only 3 issues, definitely gonna dig into that. And like I said, follow me on Instagram. You can see all my thoughts on everything. Next, King Spawn, and one of the artists that is crushing the game with Spawn covers right now, Puppeteer Lee, man, shout out to you. You are crushing it with these Spawns. This is King Spawn, what are we on? 33. So Spawn, everything going on with the Spawn universe, all the Spawns and Hell Spawns have lost their powers with the Dead Zone, so everybody is powerless. So it's very interesting what's going on and kind of the dynamic with everything. Next, we'll leave it with, like I said, Blood Hunt. Boom. Jonathan Tyler Christopher. Met him at GalaxyCon. The dude has the smallest signature on the planet, but I love this retro style blade, that dynamite blade. But yeah, love that negative space with that green background. Had to grab that. And then if you didn't know, spend the extra $1 for the Red Band edition. Get the poly bag. It's only a couple pages and a couple panels, but at the end of the day, it's still a little bit of an extra story, so why not just spend the extra $1? But I am going to tell you guys, I'm only going to be reading the Blood Hunt main series. I don't recommend reading all the tie-ins unless you absolutely have to. I don't read the tie-ins, I just follow along with the main story, and I don't kind of get into that cash grab besides the foils. Boom, so that's it. That's my entire free comic book day haul, plus my new big books for the past 2 weeks. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know what your cover of the week is. Mine was for sure that Dan Mora free comic book day Superman. I love how he looks in that, and I am very excited to see these stories coming out. So again, I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate any likes, shares, comments. Make sure you hit the pinned comment to get that conversation started, and go back and check out any of my videos. I've been really trying to keep up with the content and kind of trying to switch it up. This Wednesday, I do have another day off, so I'm going to get out and hit up some toy hunts, hit up a Target, Ollie's, Barnes & Noble, Walmart's, get that going again. I know you guys liked that last video, so we're going to do that, and I do have to hit the post office, so stay on the lookout for that. And then Friday, I'm always back with my positivity and shoutouts, and then Saturday is always a hit or miss video. Live Sunday every week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys. The support means the world. Can't wait to meet the people going to Heroes Con. And for the people that aren't going to Heroes Con, I hope our live streams and I hope all our content will make you feel just as welcome and just as part of a family like you are. So again, I love you guys to death. I'm going to wrap it up, get out of here, stay legendary, and as always, I hope you guys find what you're looking for. Thank you.